What's going on, guys? Welcome to my review of the newest film from director Ryan Coogler, Sinners. This movie takes place in rural 1930s Mississippi and is about a set of twin brothers who are returning back to their hometown in efforts to escape a life of criminal activity, but waiting for them in the shadows lurks an unforeseen evil that will prove to be a greater danger than anything they have ever experienced before. This was one of my most anticipated movie releases of this year, so going in, I had super high expectations. Ryan Coogler is one of the best and most interesting directors working today, and the pairing of him and Michael B. Jordan has delivered every single time these two have linked up together. They don't miss, and so that duo being involved in a project is enough alone to have me interested. But then once I found out that this was going to be a period piece vampire film, my excitement skyrocketed, and I knew that this had real potential to end up being my #1 movie of this year. After slashers, I would say that vampire films are probably my next favorite subgenre within horror. The Lost Boys is actually my favorite movie of all time, and with films like Renfield and Abigail and Nosferatu releasing in the last couple of years, vampire lovers have been eating real good, so to get another one with this kind of buzz and from a director as talented as Ryan Coogler, it feels like we're just getting spoiled at this point. Having this high of expectations for a movie always makes me a little nervous because in the glass half empty way of looking at things, it just increases the chances of me being disappointed. And being that this is Ryan Coogler's first foray into the horror genre, this movie being great was not guaranteed, and so there was a real chance that my super high hopes for this film could backfire on me. So was all the anticipation and excitement for this film worth it, and did Sinners deliver on my lofty expectations? Well, before I get into all that, I'd like to ask that while you're here, go ahead and give the video a like and subscribe to the channel as well for more movie reviews. Make sure to get down in the comment section below and tell me any thoughts you have on Sinners. I'd love to read all you guys have to say on this movie. Now let's get into the review. Starting with the positives, and I'll just come right out and tell you guys that absolutely, positively, 100% this movie delivers on the hype, and it not only met my expectations, but it blew them right out of the water. Forget best movie of 2025, this might be one of the best movies I have seen in my entire lifetime. It's immediately one of the best vampire movies I have ever seen, but to just describe this film as a vampire movie is underselling it a bit in my opinion, because for me it was so much more than that. This film incorporates a multitude of genres, and Ryan Coogler is able to fit them together seamlessly, and this was really some of the most impressive work from a director I have seen in a really long time. And this is easily his most ambitious project to date. On paper, a vampire period piece film that's also a celebration of old blues music is a very risky idea, but in my opinion, he executed every single thing about it flawlessly. If you are just seeing this for the vampire stuff, then you may feel that this movie takes a while to get to all of that. For me though, I enjoyed everything about the experience that this movie has to offer. I'm really into history, specifically American history, and so I love when a movie can take me back to a point in time and educate me on what life looked and felt like at that given moment, even in times of this country that weren't so pretty, like the Jim Crow South. I think it's very beneficial to get movies like this and educate us and let us know where we come from so that we can further understand where we're going. Ryan Coogler puts a lot of cultural elements into his movies, Black Panther being the biggest example of that, and I recognize that as a white man, there are a lot of things in his movies that I cannot relate to or could ever fully understand. But I think regardless of race or the background that you come from, you know powerful storytelling when you see it. And I think Coogler makes movies that mean something and that all people in all walks of life should see. And he has been able to do all of this over a very diverse catalog of films, whether it be a sports movie or a comic book movie or now a vampire movie. He is always able to deliver a film that leaves an impact that is both entertaining and meaningful, and I cannot commend him enough for that as a director and a filmmaker. Getting into some of the other aspects of this film, being that a big chunk of this movie is a celebration of music and the blues, the soundtrack and the score for this movie is phenomenal and is easily one of the best I have heard in quite some time. There are full-on musical numbers in this movie, and they are done so well and fit in so effectively that I think even the biggest musical hater would have a hard time saying that they aren't impressed with how well they are pulled off in this film. The entire cast in this movie is fantastic. Michael B. Jordan at this point is one of the biggest megastars of the last decade, and I would probably say this is his most impressive performance he's ever given in his career. Haley Steinfeld is another big standout for me in this movie. I think she is so underrated as an actress, and I think is more big big time roles come her way, she will very quickly be one of the top working actresses we have out there. Miles Caton as Sammy is sort of the second lead to Michael B. Jordan, and he brings so much to this movie, not just from an acting standpoint, but he delivers some of the film's most standout musical moments as well. I've seen a ton of clips of other cast members singing his praises, and I totally see why. And the fact that this is his first acting role is crazy to me and makes what he is able to do even more impressive. All right, now let's talk vampires. Horror is my bread and butter, and so I was super excited to see what a Ryan Coogler horror film would look like. And it's just another part of Sinners that I felt like he absolutely nails. He took a very traditional approach with the vampires in this movie in terms of their rules and ways and methods, which I always love to see in these kinds of films. I also like the touches of folklore and spirituality that was put into this aspect of the film, and I think they do a good job at slowly ramping up the vampirisms. And then once we get into the third act of this film, it completely unleashes into full-blown Dusk Till Dawn inspired blood-sucking chaos, and I absolutely enjoyed every single second of it. They definitely didn't cheap out on the blood and the budget for this movie because there are buckets of it, and though there is a lot of CGI gore in this movie, I do think they strike a good balance as there is some good practical effects work in here. All in all, I think they deliver everything that vampire fans could hope to see when they sit down to check out this movie. Well, there you guys have it. Those are all of my thoughts on Sinners. I really don't have anything negative to say about this film, at least nothing that would warrant having a whole negative portion for this video, and anything that I could come up with to say that is a negative would just be needless nitpicking and nothing that actually had any effect on my viewing experience or the enjoyment that I got out of this film. This was a perfect movie in my opinion, an easy 10 out of 10, and it's right there with Black Panther as being my favorite Ryan Coogler film. I went in with this being one of my most anticipated movies of 2025, and I came out with it easily being my favorite movie of 2025 thus far. And any movie that we get that comes out during the remainder of this year is going to have a steep hill to climb to snatch that crown away from it. I definitely recommend you go check this movie out in theaters, pay the extra money to get the IMAX ticket. When it gets a digital and physical release, go buy it. Any way that you can see this movie, I definitely think you should do that because it is definitely worth your time, energy, and money. And when you do go check this movie out, make sure to stick around after the credits. There's a mid-credit scene and a post-credit scene. The mid-credit scene is absolutely essential viewing. It's an epilogue and really the true ending to the film. The post-credit scene is really just something to put a bow on the entire experience. It's not something you absolutely have to stick around for. I do recommend hanging around because I think you should want to soak up every moment and every second this movie has to offer because I think it deserves that. But let me know what you guys think about Sinners down in the comments below. Are you excited to check it out? If you've already seen it, what did you think about it? I'd love to read all you guys have to say. Make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel as well for more movie reviews, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.